at 9 this Wednesday, the 14th of August 2024. Stage is set. Deadline for placing deposits for the 2024 presidential election expires. 40 candidates have placed bonds to contest this year's election. Acceptance of nominations will take place tomorrow. Room to grow. Stakeholders in each industry now have room to focus on preserving growth as economic stability returns, says central bank governor. Expensive promise. Sri Lanka plans to amend the tax structure to provide income tax relief, reveals President Ranil Wickremesinghe.
ඔබේ විශ්වාසය දිනු සෙන්සුරයින් දැන් ළඟමැති ෆාමසියෙන් ලබාගත හැක.
This is Derana First at 9. Live from Studio 24 in Colombo.
Good evening and welcome to tonight's edition of Derana First at 9. I'm Tarindu Mahendra, joining you live with the latest in Sri Lanka and from around the world. Now in your top story this evening, the deadline for placing deposits for the 2024 presidential election expired today, with a total of 40 candidates placing bonds for candidacy in the poll. Following the placing of deposits, the acceptance of nominations for the presidential contest is slated to take place tomorrow. Meanwhile, the Election Commission announced that postal voting for the 2024 presidential election will take place on the 4th, 5th and 6th of September. The period for placing bonds for candidacy at the 2024 presidential election, which commenced on the 26th of last month, concluded today. Representatives of Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna arrived at the Election Commission this morning to place bonds on behalf of the party's presidential candidate MP Namal Rajapaksa.
අපමුදල් සම්පත් කළා ජයග්‍රාහී ගමනේ තවත් පියවරක් ඉදිරියට තිබුණා.
ඔතුමන්ලගෙන් ඉවත් වෙලා ගිය පිරිස නව සන්දානයක් නව බලවේගයක් ගොඩනගනවා කියලා ප්‍රකාශ කරලා තියෙනවා.
දැන් මේ පෙරදිලා ඊළඟට කොහෙටද යන්නේ කියලා දන්නේ නැතුව දැන් ජනාධිපතිවරණය අමතක කළා පක්ෂ හදන්න දඟලනවා. ඉතින් ඒක ඒගොල්ලොන්ට කරගන්න අරින්න අපිට කියන්න තියෙන පව් කියලා අපි අපේ ගමන යනවා.
Meanwhile, bonds were placed on behalf of Janaka Ratnayaka, who will be the presidential candidate of the Eksat Lanka Podujana Paksha. Bonds were also placed on behalf of the United National Freedom Front's presidential candidate Lalit De Silva and independent candidate Sarat Kumara Gunaratne. The deadline for placing election deposits officially expired at 12 noon today. According to the Election Commission, 40 candidates have placed bonds to contest this year's presidential election. This number includes 22 candidates contesting under recognized political parties, 1 candidate from other political parties, and 17 independent candidates. In the meantime, a number of candidates signed their nomination papers to contest this year's presidential election. President Ranil Wickremesinghe, who is set to contest as an independent candidate, signed his nomination papers at his political office on Flower Road. Meanwhile, the presidential candidate of the Sarva Jana Balaya Alliance, Maubima Janata Party leader Dilith Jayavira, signed his nomination papers at the MJP headquarters in Borella. Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna presidential candidate MP Namal Rajapaksa signed his nomination papers at former President Mahinda Rajapaksa's residence in Vijayarama. Former Justice Minister Dr. Vijayadasa Rajapaksa, who is set to contest under the National Democratic Front, signed his nomination papers at his residence in Navala. Following the placing of deposits, the acceptance of nominations for the presidential election is set to take place at the offices of the Election Commission in Rajagiriya from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. tomorrow. During the acceptance of nominations, the vicinity of the election secretariat will be designated as a special security zone, and a special traffic plan will be in effect from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. on the roads in the surrounding area. This evening, the Election Commission convened a meeting of the presidential candidates and election officials where they were briefed on tomorrow's program for accepting nominations. In the meantime, the Election Commission announced that postal voting for the 2024 presidential election will be held on the 4th, 5th and 6th of September. According to the Commission, the 4th of September is reserved for officials of district secretariats, election officers and police to mark their postal ballots, while others who applied for postal voting will be able to mark their ballots on the 5th and 6th of September. Meanwhile, the 11th and 12th of September have been allocated as additional dates for those who were unable to mark their postal ballots on the initial dates. The Election Commission added that the issuance and delivery of postal ballots will be carried out on the 26th of August.
Horizon Campus 2024 Intake 2. Register now.
Meanwhile, Tamil National Alliance MP M.A. Sumandiran revealed that President Ranil Wickremesinghe has given assurance to expedite the implementation of the 13th Amendment to the Constitution. Sumandiran made this statement while speaking to media following a meeting with President Wickremesinghe at the Presidential Secretariat.
A meeting between the Tamil National Alliance's Jaffna MP M.A. Sumandiran and President Ranil Wickremesinghe was held this morning at the Presidential Secretariat. During the meeting, the implementation of the 13th Amendment to the Constitution was discussed.
ජනාධිපතිතුමා ජනාධිපති ධූරය බාරගත්ත දවසේ ඉඳලා 13 වෙනි සංශෝධනයේ ක්‍රියා කරන බව අපිට කියා සිටියා. එනමුත් මොනවත් ඊට කරේ නැහැ. දැන් එතුමා ජනාධිපතිවරණයට කලින් මම ඒ වෙලාවේ දුන්න ඒ ලයිස්තුව බලලා සියලු දේවල් දැන් කරන්න පුළුවන් කියලා අපිට කියා තියෙනවා. අද දින මාව කැඳවලා ක්‍රියාවලිය සම්බන්ධව මට සාකච්ඡා කරා. කොහොමද ඒක ඊට කරන්නේ කියලා මම ජනාධිපතිතුමාත් එක්ක දීර්ඝ සාකච්ඡාවක් කරලා තියෙනවා. ඡන්ද බලාපොරොත්තුෙන් තමයි හැම එකනම හදිසි වෙන්නේ. ඇඩ්මිනිස්ට්‍රේෂන් වශයෙන් අධ්‍යාපන කටයුතු සෞඛ්‍ය කටයුතු ගැන ඒවා ඔක්කොම නැවත පළාත් සභාවට බාර දෙනවා කියලා එතුමා කියනවා.
දැන් පොලිස් බලතල බෙදා දීම සම්බන්ධයෙන් ජනාධිපතිතුමා කොයි වගේ මතයකද ඉන්නේ?
එතුමා කියන්නේ එන මැතිවරණයට පස්සුව ඒක ගැන අපි සාකච්ඡා කරමු කියලා.
දැන් මෙවර ඔබතුමාලගේ සහාය කාටද හිමි වෙන්නේ?
ඒක තාම අපි තීරණය කරලා නැහැ. සැප්තැම්බර් 20 වෙනිදා දක්වා අපිට කාලය තියෙනවානේ.
The new alliance led by the Sri Lanka Freedom Party together with Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna parliamentarians who left the party formed an alliance today under the name Podujana Eksat Peramuna. During the launch of the new alliance, the leader of Podujana Eksat Peramuna, Anura Priyadarshana Yapa, declared the support for incumbent President Ranil Wickremesinghe in the forthcoming presidential election.
The faction of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party led by Minister Nimal Siripala de Silva together with the ministers who left Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna launched a new alliance today named Podujana Eksat Peramuna. The announcement was formally made this morning at a ceremony held in Colombo. The new alliance will be led by parliamentarian Anura Priyadarshana Yapa. State Minister of Transport Lasantha Alegiyawanna was appointed as the General Secretary of the new alliance, while State Minister of Primary Industries Chamara Sampath Dasanayake was appointed as the Treasurer. Meanwhile, Parliamentarian Dumindu Disanayake, Minister of Trade Nalin Fernando and State Minister of Fisheries Piyal Nishantha were appointed as the national organisers of the Podujana Eksat Peramuna. Additionally, the Leadership Council of the new alliance consists of 21 members. The newly formed alliance plans to contest the upcoming elections under the symbol of the chair.
This is the largest alliance made in the history of the country. This new alliance was launched for a specific purpose, not to exist in the name only. We aim to provide a proper leadership to develop a collapsed country. We would like to announce that the People's Alliance has transformed into a massive alliance which is capable of contesting any election in the country or pledge support to any presidential candidate or any party during the elections.
නායකයාගේ කුරුළු හස්තයට හසුවීම නිසා
The Sri Lanka Freedom Party collapsed because of its party leader. However, we are strengthening our party at present. For the last 1.5 years, we engaged in extensive deliberations with various political parties to launch an alliance based on democracy where everyone can unite together. All these tasks failed as we lost the faith we had in the former SLFP chairman. We did not form this alliance to protect a family or a person. We expect to invite members from any political party who are not content with the current status of their parties to join us. Podujana Eksat Peramuna is a haven for members of any party who think that a change is required.
සියලු දෙනාටම තෝතැන්නක් තමයි අපේ සන්ධානය. මෙතෙන්ට එකතු වෙන්න.
පසුගිය ආර්ථික කඩාවැටීමත් එක්ක අපි දැකපු දෙයක් තමයි
With the economic crisis, we understood that we had not paid any attention to the country's economy. We realized that a change is required just as the people began to come onto the streets. The incumbent President Ranil Wickremesinghe prevented the country from falling into a situation similar to Bangladesh. As such, we have decided that the SLFP, together with other progressive parties, will support President Wickremesinghe in the upcoming election.
Meanwhile, United Republican Front leader Patali Champika Ranawaka joined the alliance led by Samagi Jana Balawegaya to support opposition leader Sajith Premadasa in the coming presidential election. The United Republican Front, led by MP Patali Champika Ranawaka, joined the Samagi Jana Balawegaya-led alliance Samagi Jana Sandhane today, pledging support to opposition leader Sajith Premadasa in the upcoming presidential election.
We do not oppose the temporary financial stability achieved by the President. However, remember that financial stability alone is not sufficient for us. I urge the citizens of this country, this is not a time for experiments. We must not cause the country to collapse by pursuing radical experiments. Let's steer this country towards sustainable economic growth with a proper plan and management building on the economic stability we have achieved. We understand that the steps we have taken for this nation are not easy. We will not only win this election but also save the country from this crisis, dedicating ourselves to creating a better future for the children of this nation.
During our discussions, we agreed that only talented individuals will be appointed to positions of power. Under no circumstance will we implement nepotism. I would like to assure you that for the first time in recent history, a government free from nepotism will be established under an SJB-led administration after we secure victory on the 21st of September. Meanwhile, leader of All Ceylon Makkal Congress Rishad Badiuddin said his party has decided to support opposition leader Sajith Premadasa at the upcoming presidential election. Meanwhile, leader of National People's Power Anurakumara Dissanayake asserts that the country's corrupt political culture must be transformed before the island nation can focus on digitization. Addressing the NPP's Digital Summit for IT professionals yesterday, the NPP leader stated that an NPP-led government will generate an income of $5 billion from the country's IT sector while generating 30,000 employment opportunities annually for IT professionals.
The National People Power's Do IT 5.0, the Digital Summit for ICT Professionals, was held last evening in Colombo under the patronage of NPP leader Anurakumara Dissanayake. During the event, the Information Technology Policy Manifesto of the National People's Power for the upcoming presidential election was unveiled.
Revolution.
මේ කාලේ ගොඩක් කතා බහට ලක් වෙනවා මේ ස්මාර්ට් ඇග්‍රිකල්චර් ස්මාර්ට් ක්ලාස්රූම්
Key topics such as smart agriculture and smart classrooms are circulating through society at present. However, the country will continue to engage in dirty politics. I am of the view that it is be advisable to clean out this political landscape of the country, digitalization. I assure you that the first priority of an NPP-led government will be to clean out the country's political arena. A massive transformation in science and technology across the world came into effect during the 20th century. Countries such as South Korea, Vietnam and Singapore adjusted their economic strategies to suit the new market trends that emerged during that time. India's IT sector export earnings alone stands at $194 billion. In comparison, Sri Lanka's IT sector export income is only $1.2 billion. This is because we failed to adjust our economy according to the global developments in science and technology. In 2016, the government decided that the country must earn a total export income of $5 billion from the IT sector by 2024. However, in 2018, the deadline to achieve this $5 billion income target was postponed until 2025. In 2020, the government set a goal to earn a total export income of $3 billion from the IT sector by 2024. However, our export income from the IT sector last year was $1.2 billion. As the policymakers of a country, the government holds the responsibility of achieving the goals set for the IT sector of the country. This year, we have set the goal to reach a total export income of $5 billion from the IT sector by 2030. Additionally, 12,000 to 15,000 IT-related jobs are provided for individuals each year. However, our target is to grant 30,000 employment opportunities annually for professionals in the IT sector. Nearly 35,000 university graduates are currently unemployed. We will create a new asset for the country by directing some of those unemployed graduates to the IT sector by conducting IT-related courses.
ඔන්න උතරින් බැරිද අපිට පංගුවක් අරගෙන කෙටි කාලීන පාඨමාලාවන් හරහා මේ ශේත්‍රයට අලුත් සම්පතක් නිර්මාණය කරගන්න බැරිද කියලා අපි අවධානය යොමු කරනවා.
Meanwhile, leader of Maubima Janata Party, Dilith Jayavira, says the people have not changed their political affiliations even though parliamentarians have changed sides. Meanwhile, MJP's senior vice chairman Anuradha Yahampat says her party has entered into a revolutionary path which is aimed at creating a new country that possesses policies and values that suit Sri Lankans.
An event to hand over appointment letters to the Maubima Janatha Party's organisers of Haliyala, Haputale, Viyaluwa, Norwood, Agarapatana and Valimara electorates was held today under the patronage of its party leader Dilith Jayavira.
Political party leaders are changing sides. Some have joined the SJB while another group is supporting Ranil Wickremesinghe. Other than a few local government politicians, we cannot see a shift in the opinion of the people. I have made a personal observation in the Matara district. Dalla Salha Peruma was a die-hard politician who engaged in leftist politics. However, he changed sides. However, the people understood that. Some of the local government politicians with him also changed sides. However, the people haven't changed.
Meanwhile, the Colombo District Women's Rally of the Maubima Janatha Party was held today at the new town hall in Colombo.
හොඳටම විශ්වාසයි දිලිත් ජයවීර මැතිතුමාට දේශපාලනය කරන්න අවශ්‍ය නම් එතුමාට ඔය ඕනේ දේශපාලන වේදිකාවකට ගොඩ වෙන්න තිබුණා. ඒ නිකන් දේශපාලනයට ඇවිල්ලා පාර්ලිමේන්තුවට ඇවිල්ලා ඊට පස්සේ ඔය යම් කණ්ඩායම් එක යම් ගනුදෙනු කරගෙන දේශපාලනේ ඉහළට එන්න තිබුණා. ඒක බොහොම පහසුවෙන් කරන්න තිබුණා. නමුත් අපිට කවදාකවත් අපේ රටට ගැළපෙන ප්‍රතිපත්ති සහ අපේ රටට ගැළපෙන දැක්මක් එක්ක අලුත් රටක් හදන්නට ලැබෙන්නේ නැහැ ඒ විදිහට කරාට. අපි අලුත් පක්ෂයක් මේක ඇත්තටම විශාල විප්ලවයක් මේ රට තුල අපි මේ කරන්නේ.
Star dishwasher දැලි තෙල් ඉඳුල් පහසුවෙන් සේදේ. Star dishwasher magic tub එක.
Welcome back. President Ranil Wickremesinghe revealed plans to provide relief for personal income tax in the near future. Delivering the keynote address at the University Lecturers Conference, the President mentioned that two proposals currently under review by the Treasury and the counter-proposal by the International Monetary Fund are being considered to achieve the goal of providing benefits to Sri Lanka's middle-income earners.
The University Lecturers Conference, themed Transforming Sri Lanka's Higher Education Towards a Developed Nation, was held last evening in Battaramulla. The keynote address of the conference was delivered by President Ranil Wickremesinghe.
When we took over, there were fuel queues for over 4 days, over 5 kilometers long queues, 14 hours of power cut, no school buses, no vans to transport students to schools, examinations delayed over 6 months, results delayed. There are many interruptions in the field of education. There are no arrangements to give away uniform materials to 4.3 million students in the country. No arrangement for printing textbooks at that time. No midday meal. But within 2 years, under the leadership of His Excellency the President, all our cabinet colleagues and the government and all the officials, they took bold steps to normalize the situation.
Our creditors have agreed to give us debt relief, and that is up to the tune of about $10 billion. I think then we have the agreement with IMF, 3.9 billion. So that's 3.9 billion there and a benefit of 10.5 billion to make it easier for us. But we have to hit this target. This is why we made it economic transformation bill. You might as well go the whole way and make it an export-oriented competitive economy. Then we are now in the next stage of discussing the tax thresholds because we have had a very strong performance in the economy this year. We hope to maintain it next year. So now we are looking at adjustments to the personal income tax structure to provide some relief to the taxpayers in that way. At the moment, we are having two proposals. One is a proposal by the officials of the Treasury, other is a proposal by the officials of the IMF. So we are now looking at the comparisons of what it will happen and we are working it out. But both these means that there is going to be a question of relief, which we've been talking with the IMF, and I have no doubt that we can go ahead with one of these things. Anyway, let the officials decide. But the economy is growing. We can grow, but we must grow faster. That's why we have to look at the future.
Central Bank Governor Dr. Nandalal Veerasinghe has stated that the gradual recovery of the country's economy has enabled stakeholders to refocus on industrial growth. Speaking at the Sri Lanka International Insurance Summit 2024, Governor Veerasinghe further noted that according to current indicators, economic growth is expected to continue throughout the year.
The Sri Lanka International Insurance Summit 2024, themed Integrating the Local and Global Insurance Industries, organised by the Insurance Association of Sri Lanka, was held from the 12th to the 14th of August in Colombo. This three-day conference aimed to connect Sri Lanka with the global insurance industry, showcase the abundant business opportunities in the region and promote international investment.
Subsequent to the strong positive growth in the first quarter of this year, leading indicators point to a continuation of this positive growth momentum during the remainder of this year. We also continue to make progress on Sri Lanka's IMF EFF facility as evidence from the completion of the second review in June 2024 and receiving the third tranche, bringing the total disbursement thus far from the IMF to around $1 billion. In addition, the debt restructuring process has also given us much more debt relief for the government. As you all are aware, Sri Lanka has also made significant progress on the debt restructuring front, having reached a milestone agreement with the Official Credit Committee in late June 2024, and also negotiation with key commercial creditors are also making a good progress. So we are hoping we should be able to complete this within a very short period, thereby now allowing all stakeholders to focus and preserve on the progress of their individual sectors. On this background, I believe that the insurance industry is poised to benefit from the ongoing recovery of the economic activities. Improved business conditions, low inflation, and low interest rates, especially in conventional financial products, are likely to boost demand for insurance services on an overall basis. However, the high exposure of the insurance sector on government securities could have resulted in lowered returns for the sector due to current low yield rates compared to rates they also seen. Although the insurance industry in Sri Lanka is smaller, in 2023, insurance sector contributed to 0.8% of the GDP. As economy progresses on its recovery path, the insurance sector will need to play a vital role in fostering economic growth. This is a key enabler of business expansion in recovering economy. Also, as investors, insurance companies drive economic growth by mobilizing funds for productive investments, encouraging savings, and investing in infrastructure and development projects, thereby contributing to financial system stability and supporting economic recovery. Insurers also play a key role in the lending process, as lenders are more inclined to finance projects that are insured. That's where the credit supply can be enhanced through the insurance services.
And with that, we wrap up tonight's edition of First at 9. Thank you for joining us and have a good night.